Rinpoche has died tonight. Yes, he died at 3 o'clock in the night. And you remember I told to some of you that I had visited him on the second or third day of the course to say goodbye in the hospital. And he really wanted to leave. And since he had a stroke and then broken ribs, which pierced also the lung, and then he was very handicapped. He needed a lot of morphine in these last days. But seemingly he was able to listen quite well and to understand. Although he wasn't able to speak, with half the side paralyzed, it's very difficult to speak, especially in the beginning. So we could communicate, but it was only a few words. And his daughters and his son, he has 3 daughters and 1 son, maybe even 1 more. I think maybe he has 5 children. But I met 4 of them, so they were all around him. They are from Switzerland. He was from Switzerland, living with Gisela, who left us last year by surprise, rupture of the aorta when she was with her friends, playing cards and so on, very, very much at ease. And I chose for today, I've already practiced for him, but I chose for today that we will practice together for Peter this morning and give a few instructions also. So often I'm being asked, what can you do in order to help someone? And when this person, not only before the last breath, but afterwards, what can we do? Now, in the case of Peter, it's very, very easy, because he loved to do these Tibetan prayers that we will be doing now. He was listening, the last things he used to listen to were the audios with the guided meditations. We have talked a lot about Devachan, how to go there, how to direct one's mind, how to actually trust in this journey towards boundless light, boundless love and compassion, which is Amitabha. So, while I'm talking, you can also invite in your heart, you can invite relatives or people you knew who have died recently. They are all welcome. Everybody is welcome. Huh? Everybody who might benefit from this is very much welcome. And there are always many beings in the bardo who haven't yet found their way. And these beings, they need support. So actually, we practice continuously for them. Every day we practice for them to help them find the way. Now, since with Peter we talked through it very clearly, I repeated the instructions to him when I was in hospital, and he simply nodded and said, yes, I know, I remember, everything very, very clear. Yes. So what we do is we invite those mind streams of the people, or even animals, which have left their body. They are now not embodied. We invite these mind streams to come and be with us. And to feel very welcome and to settle down as if we were offering a place to them. And the practice has to be quite short. You cannot spend hours and hours, their attention span is very short. Because they don't have a body which makes it difficult for them to leave the room. As soon as they think of something else, they are gone. Okay? So it's only our authentic love and connection that keeps them here. And that brings them here. This authentic love and compassion for Peter is our connection now, and for your relatives, it's your connection. Right? So Peter has participated, I don't know how many years. Since the beginning of Grüner Baum, I remember he was always there together with Gisela. So they must have come, I don't know, 30, 40 times to different retreats and courses altogether. And you prepare, you invite them, and you inwardly prepare. You may visualize or you may feel this dimension of the 4 Brahma Viharas, the 4 immeasurable qualities. Because that's what Amitabha is. Amitabha is the Dharmakaya, which means the body of truth, called boundless light. And it is that dimension which manifests due to boundless love for all sentient beings. And you remember that Amitabha's wishes were to create a kind of divine abode, a place of no suffering, very easy to reach. His wish was, may my own awakening be postponed until that force has accumulated that just by the power of trust, of confidence, one can reach that pure realm, which manifests due to the samadhi of a Buddha. So this is called Sukhavati, the land of joy or of bliss, Devachan in Tibetan. So we connect ourselves with that dimension of boundless joy. It is the dimension of the first Bodhisattva Bhumi, of the insight into the nature of phenomena. And reaching this insight is the journey. So, immediately after having left one's body, the mind is still very flexible. And if we can help the mind stream to leave behind the relatives, then in the early stages of the bardo, it is quite easy to reach Devachan, because we are not yet so entangled with fears and emotions and so on. The only difficulties is to leave behind the previous existence. That wasn't also so easy for Peter, but he was firmly decided, and so we connect to Devachan, to this dimension of the 4 immeasurables, wherever it is in your mind, in your heart-mind, you connect to that. Maybe in the center, it will help you probably, you place Amitabha, knowing that this is a representation of what cannot be imagined. Yes, so, and then you invite, mostly the easiest is to invite the mind stream that has just passed over, then to invite that into your own heart or close by, and then you direct your confidence towards towards Amitabha. Those who know, they can do a pova, a consciousness transfer. We won't do it here. It was already done. But you can show the way through your trust, as if you had rays of light going. We go upwards, but and Amitabha is everywhere. It's not upwards, but we go upwards. It makes things easier. And these light rays of your own trust, is our trust. Yes. These inspire the mind stream that we have invited to develop its own trust. Yes. Our trust inspires the trust in the others. And due to that, then they follow. They are mind reading. They have this capacity of clairvoyance, so they are mind reading, and they follow our trust. And you can only guide them to the entry of Devachan. You cannot take them by the hand and place them in Devachan. The trust goes, you go together to Sukhavati, into these four immeasurables, and for them to be firmly established in Devachan, then it is their own trust. They are welcomed, so to speak. There are lots of welcoming forces there, but from their side they have to practice a letting go of everything else. So they have to be really ready to enter joy and happiness and boundless compassion. Okay. It is said in the teachings, this is also figurative speaking, a figure of speech, that Tara and Chenrezig, the Karmapa, Guru Rinpoche, they are all active in Devachan with many supporters to welcome sentient beings, and the Dakinis are being sent out to welcome. This is talking about incredible forces which become active when a person opens up to its own Buddha nature. Yes, then incredible forces become active which make the whole thing much easier. So basically what we call consciousness transfer is our trust in Buddha nature directed towards Buddhahood, towards that dimension, and then the mind streams connecting now, they open up to that and they dare to follow that great opening. Yes. So in order to do this together, we will simply do two things. We will recite the Amitabha, we will sing the Amitabha mantra now, Om Ami Deva Shri. Shri is the seed syllable of Amitabha and of Chenrezig. And yeah, so this is like the force of bodhicitta, the force of Buddha nature, Om Ami Deva Shri. Same melody as for the Chenrezig mantra. And then to conclude the practice, we will sing 3 times the short Devachan prayer, the Emaho. Establish your connection with the ultimate dimension as much as you can connect, enter it yourself. Do it while we are singing, and with this singing, sound and visualization help the mind streams to go there. So from our side, nothing should be active to hold them back. So just encouraging. Om Ami Deva Shri. Om Devajri. Om Amin Devajri. Om Amin Devajri. Emaho nasa sanjanam vadayandang yasun jobun tun chen chem bondang yantu sempan tun chen dam nam la sang yen chan sembab me ko jing ko. Dekina sabhantu membayin deva shenjen java shinkandi Migyul dinan sempun yomata keva shenjen baman champaru Derun kena nanda shalton shon degen dange man lam dam pandi chun chu sang yen chan sam tam jagi ge men drum ban jin ji lap tu sa Teyantam pensandeya havam bodham nayasoha Emaho nasa sanjanam vantayandang yasun jabun tun chen chem bodham Yandu semban tun chen dam nam la sang yen chan semba me kun jing ko. Degen asambhan du memba yin deva shen chen java shinkam de. Migyul dinan sempun jumantam keva shenjem baman champar. Dedu genen nanda shantan shon dengen dangeman lam tam bandi. Chun chu sangen jan sam tam jenkim. Geb men drum pan jin je lam tu sa. Teyan tam pen san te avam bodhanaya soham. Emaho nasa sanjanam vantayandang yasun jobun tun chen chem bondang yantu semban tun chen tam nam la sang yen jan sembab me god jing ko. Deken asambhantu membayin deva shenjen java shinkande Migyul dinan sempun jumanta keva shenjen baman jamparum Dedu kena nanda shantan shok Dengen dange man lam tam pandi Chun chu sang yen chan sam tam jengking Ge man drum ban jin ji lam tu sa Teyan Santa Pensantia Bandanaya Soha. Sunam de yentam jesipanintam nenem pedanam banjene. Kengana jimbalam jumpayi simpe solendra vajra vasham. Champam bhavan jintakam padang kunto sampodeyam deshinte. Tenda kunjin jesundan lom jingge wandin tam jeram tungom. Sangye kusum nimbenjin lamdan shenim injun dembenjin lamdan. Kenden minjen dembenjin lamjim. Jitang owamen la dumbasho. So, see you again, Peter, under different circumstances. I could not promise him that he will recognize Gisela when he goes to Devachan. He would have liked it very much. But I said, you know, a body of light and the body of the last life, quite some differences. Yeah. So, when someone like Peter has practiced so many years of his life with such a good heart, you know, he came for every meditation day, they came up to Grüner Baum, not only for the courses, and he did retreats in their house, and this was his only preoccupation. It's the only thing that kept him alive. It was actually the Dharma. I could only convince him to stay alive after Gisela had left, because he was thinking about going for exit. And then I said, well, a little bit early, you can still use life for deepening your Dharma practice. And that kept him going. And now, of course, it wasn't necessary anymore. But so you don't have to worry for someone like this. When conditions gather, then this is a beautiful thing to happen, to leave the body being very well prepared. You know what was my last instruction to him? I mean, I repeated these instructions to him, but the last one was, Peter, don't try to have a clear mind now. With morphine, it's not possible. You cannot have a clear mind with morphine. You can have little bit, sometimes, here and there, but not steady. Because in the last months of his life, because of old age, he saw that his attention span was getting less, he couldn't listen to a full audio, he had to stop every 10-15 minutes to make a break, and he was struggling so much for a clear mind, because that was his practice all life long. And you know, we practice here the Mahamudra of not doing anything, so I had to give it in a different form. I had to tell him, don't even practice clear mind. Just trust. Trust your basic mind. That will show as soon as you leave this conditioned body, this body of the elements, then also the morphine has no more effect on your mind. Your mind is free. after leaving these cells, this one, which is decomposing, then you will regain your capacities. Then he smiled when he heard that. Okay. So I leave the place now to Stephen. He will also give a little teaching. That's wonderful to hear what comes out spontaneously from him.
Works okay? All right. Thank you. It was very touching the heart. Thank you. And it reminds me of a story many years ago that I was guiding someone on their way to passing. And in the last 2 or 3 months of their life, she asked me to come to Jerusalem and sit with her. And she said, I'm taking morphium and I don't have a clear mind. So I went there, quite a journey. I sat with her and said, now we do morphium meditation. There isn't such a thing, just as we heard, that a mind has to be like this. So morphium meditation is using the big mind, which is, everything is possible there. And that's the meditation that's needed at the time. How is that? How does it feel? What's happening? Allowing. So I want to come a little bit from the Theravada point of view, to what we've just heard. And I think there's a lot of very beautiful teaching in the Theravada, the ancients, about dying in this life as we are, and about the dying within the body. And I'm reminded of a Dharma teacher that had Alzheimer. And people asked him, his students say, what do you advise? Because you have Alzheimer, and what do you advise to all of us? And he said, you have to get your dying done early. That is very much, very deep inside the traditional Dharma of the ancients, the Theravada world. That we need to all the time, constantly move the boundary, the assumption, and the difference between life and death. And see that the living is the dying, and the dying is the living, and the two are intimate together. And we know it in our body all the time. All the cells are dying, and if they don't die, then new ones can't be born, and the whole thing is one. So there's lots of practices around that. But I want to give 2 stories from the suttas. When the Buddha was soon to go at the age of 80. Or someone came to the Buddha and said, what will happen to you? Where will you be after you die? And the Buddha said, do you really know where I am now when I'm standing in front of you? Do you really know what this life is? Do you really know what it is to be alive? Can you find me as you look at me now? And to me, it's a very powerful and beautiful teaching, which is, in many ways, the conditioning, the assumption that we know what it is to be a live being is just a conditioned habit of mind. There's a big, vast consciousness which is not ours. There are elements which are not ours. The earth, air, fire, and water are not ours. None of it is ours. But we have a kind of deep habit, not just us, but all beings, to bring this big, infinite awareness around the shape of me. So it's like our awareness is like an open hand. It's infinite. And then we have a me, and it takes the shape, like the hand takes the shape of something. Consciousness or awareness takes the shape of me, and then we are person, and we belong, and we feel me. But it's a process, and if we look carefully, we can see that we're made of a much bigger world, bigger worlds. There is a story of a nun that Mara, I mentioned Mara yesterday, is the ordinary mind. So Mara came to this nun and said, who made you? How did you appear? Who made you? What's the agency that made you a person? And the nun said, it's your assumption that I'm a person. Who says that I'm a person? A person is a convention. A person is just a way of habit of looking. But where is a person? I'm made of all these pieces, just like I said before. And she said it. I'm made of all these pieces. Where's the person? And I think it's very helpful for us to keep going through life with this deep mystery, if you like, that we are the universe, convinced that we're a person. It's okay. It's not that we should pretend that, but slowly, slowly, we can begin to open that view. And of course, it's right, not just in the Theravada world. I'm coming from that place, but it's, Mahamudra is central. And the Tibetan non-dual teaching is central. But in our life, in everything we do, we can begin to slowly challenge that view that we are a person and there's this difference between us as a person and then dying is the ending. It's not in some way or other, our dying is coming back home to a place that we often forget. But we need to keep remembering. We need to keep remembering. We never left our home. We're always at home. We're part of the universe. We'll do, in a few minutes, we'll do a meditation on the elements. I think it's relevant. And so when we die, we go back home to a place that largely we forget because we're so busy being a person. Anyway, I think it's it's very helpful to us to actually see that we can practice this in our life. And then we get a kind of what's the word? Like a vaccine? We get in small doses all the time the sense that we're in some way or other, we're alive, dead at the same time. One more small story from actually from one of the greatest spiritual texts that I know, which is not Buddhist at all, but is Sufi, and I love it. And it's called The Conference of the Birds, and some of you may know it, but it's just amazing text. A Sufi Persian text from a few hundred years ago about a group like us, you and me and all of us, searching for liberation and going through so many trials and troubles. But in that book, endless stories of the challenges of spiritual life. But one beautiful little story is similar to what I said, is Socrates. The Sufis take great philosophers, and Socrates was dying, and his students came to him and said, Master, where shall we bury you? And he said, bury me where you can find me. And then he said, I couldn't find myself my whole life. So how are you going to find me after I died? It's the same as the Buddha story. The Buddha gave himself a name, which is Tathagata. And Tathagata, the word tat, which is in Sanskrit sat, which really means it is, isness, suchness. In English, that, same, it. So his name that he gave to himself was Tathagata. Gata means go to or come from. So it means going to suchness, that. That's all I am. I went to that. What's that? It is. I went to is. Or I came from is. Same word. And it's a beautiful description, and that's his name that he asked people to call him, Tathagata. I went to it, or I came from it. So anyway, just a few thoughts about the kind of practices we can do in our life that gets us much, much closer to this flow between life, death, that we are one in that. And we, bit by bit, little bit at a time, not drastically, we can feel that we are both places. We are part of the universe. It's not really a person. And yet, we act as a person. We play the game as a person. That's fair enough. We have an assumption as a person. So I'd like to take a few minutes perhaps for a meditation on the elements. And we'll start with the earth element. And indeed, the early texts give a lot of emphasis on meditation on the earth element as a way that we can stand firm in life and be equanimous. And right there in life, but as it's an element, we also belong to the universe. Our basis of equanimity is that we are belonging to the universe. We are part of the universe. And so there's much less sense of being vulnerable as a person, because we're made of the earth and the air and the fire and the water and this great mind stream. Sitting steady, feeling the solidity of the body. We have a weight. And we meet the earth. And the earth is pulling us. There's a relationship between us and the earth. But actually it's a relationship between the earth outside and the earth inside us. It's the earth element inside talking to the earth element outside. Feeling that sense of weight, of solidity, of material. Our hands that touch something solid there. Our bones that give us structure. The flesh, and the sense of sameness with the earth underneath and our bones, with the trees outside, solid, and our bones and our flesh, with the whole universe of solid, of materials. And we are part. Feel the sameness. And the water element. The liquid in our mouth. The blood circulating in our veins. All the juices in the body. Feel that fluid movement, stream. And it streams through us. We can't exist without water, without liquids going through us. And feel that this element in us is the same as the rivers and the streams in the world. It's exactly the same. There is no difference. We are made of the same stuff. We are flowing like the rivers flow. The rain falls. We collect some of the liquids into a body and we say, I am. And the air element. Experience it as we breathe in. We bring the air, we bring the oxygen. Feel how the air comes in and brings life to all the cells in the body. They celebrate the oxygen. And as every breath we are breathing the breath of the world. As we breathe, the world breathes with us. The winds, the breezes, the air flowing. It flows around us, it flows into us, it flows out of us. Just get this sense of the air in us, the airiness, even our thoughts and our mind is like the air flowing through us. And it's flowing through us to the world and from the world. The air inside and outside is one. And the fire, the heat, the energy flowing through us right now, the metabolism, we're burning the fuel, the fire in us. Fire comes from the sun, warms the planet, feeds the food, brings energy through food. There's heat everywhere. In us, outside us, we are one. We are all, in a way, burning together. It's one of the famous quotes of the Buddha, everything is burning. We are burning. We are on fire with everything in the universe too. And see how we just join the universe that way. And I want to add the fifth element, the mind stream, which is not so much in the ancient Theravada Dharma, but has been in thousands of years since then. Just a sense that our awareness right now also in a way doesn't belong to us. It's part of the beingness of all beings, of all life. Just get a sense now that as we are aware and knowing, we join the whole universe of knowing, all the animals and the plants and the trees and the birds, the insects, and all the beings sharing this sense of aliveness, awareness and aliveness. And as we just heard, we share that with Pieta, with beings that have lost their body. Okay, so thank you everybody. And I have to say it's such a pleasure to, maybe we'll have a chance to talk about it in the group later, but it's such a pleasure to have this same deep language, even though it happens that I've come from a slightly different history in the Dharma. Just happened. Not because I chose this way or that way. Just life, it made me go to that direction. But then there's the language which is so flowing together, coming from a different Dharma history or track. But Ekayana just feels totally belonging. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll have a break now, 20 minutes, and then I understand there's going to be a circle, so the chairs, whatever, will go around. I'm going to take a little break while you have your circles. Also can help you speak in German, not have to speak in English for me. And then I'll come back after that.